Governor Janet Mills signed the state supplemental budget into law today at Eastern Maine Community College in Bangor.
The legislature passed the nearly $500 million budget yesterday along party lines. The budget includes a provision to make the free community college program for recent high school graduates permanent.
Controversial topics included a millionaire's tax, relief checks, and the use of the state's budget stabilization fund. Legislative Republicans heavily oppose the budget and feel as if a budget passed simply by the Democratic majority leaves those who they represent without a voice.
They've been asked many, many times, what is your alternative? What is your budget? I remember having lunch with them a year ago and saying, what are you proposing in response? And I got nothing. If they have an alternative budget, they haven't proposed it.
There's just no give and take. There's just nothing from the minority party anymore because the Democrats know that they can do a budget without the Republicans. So there's really nothing from the other side. And it's unfortunate because we represent almost 50% of the state of Maine.
Budget also included funding for reproductive health care, victim services, and a cell phone ban in state schools.